Today we're going to take a look at some of the most popular pricing methods that I've used and I've seen other people use, as well as the one that I teach to everyone, which I call standardized pricing. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come on up here. I've been here for a little while. You might want to join me. If you're like me and you've got some items that are just, I don't know, stuck on eBay, they're just not seeming to sell, well, it might be your pricing. And today we're going to cover some of the most important things that you need to know regarding standardized pricing here on eBay. Because when you have everything else right, and your photos look great, and you even have a fantastic title, but your item's still stuck, sometimes it's your pricing. Today we're going to take a look at some of the most popular pricing methods that I've used and I've seen other people use, as well as the one that I teach to everyone, which I call standardized pricing. And it's a method that you can use that's going to better help you determine how much you should be buying items for when you do buy them, as well as how much you should be selling them for. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that not only are our items selling, but we're getting as much possible as we can for each item that we do sell. Let's go and take a look at things. So today we're going to take a look at a few different pricing methods. The three that I know them as. First, we have splitting the difference, a penny under, and bases covered. These are the names that I've given to these methods for pricing, but you may have heard other names from other trainers or never even heard names for them at all. This is how I prefer to call them, just so that we have a little bit of consistency here today. The first one up is we're going to be talking about the split the difference method. Now, like I said, each method has its pros and cons, and some people are going to sit there and they're going to tell you, this is the absolute best way to do it. This is the way that has worked for me for 10 plus years, and you know what? They're probably right. It probably has worked for them, but it's not for me, but we're going to go ahead and cover it anyways. The splitting the difference method looks at historical sales data on the item. It doesn't really take into account where the market is today, and that, in my opinion, is one of the biggest reasons that I don't use it. So splitting the difference basically says you go through and you look at the completed listings and you're looking for highs, you're looking for lows, and what you're doing is you're trying to find something that falls in between. Now, whenever we have a pricing method that utilizes guessing, there's always going to be room for error, and that's why I try and avoid it like the plague. So with this method, let's say, for example, we have a couple of minis for sale right now. We have one on the high end of the market, sold for about $200. We have another one on the low end of the market, only sold for about $90. And then we have another one in between. Let's just go ahead and say $120 is where that one sold. Now, if we look at these three here, we have plenty of great data points to work with, but generally speaking, when people use this split the different method, is they'll just go ahead and grab a couple of these and they'll find a nice number that's in between. Not necessarily a median or a mean average, but they'll just snag a number. In this instance, this person has chosen to sell their item at $160, just kind of plucked it clean out of the air. Now, can the item sell at this price point? Sure, of course it can. There's no reason to sit here and say that it won't. But without using the current data to show where the market is at today, we're really missing half the equation, and frankly, we could be leaving money on the table. And it's important to remember too that a dollar saved is a dollar earned, and an item that sits on eBay that does not have a chance to sell is costing you money day in and day out. Because if we look at the data and we see where the market is for Jay today, we can see that he's currently selling on average at about $125 as an ask price. That's what people are looking to get for him today. So if we price ourselves out of the market and we go at the $160 price point, there's no chance anyone's going to buy him because he's available for much less right now. Now, like I said, this method may work great for you, but it's not a method that I recommend personally. I know some of you are using it and you're going to tell me that, Jay, this is how I've sold. This is how I make my money. I sell $100,000 a year in listings, and I'll say, great, kudos to you. Continue to do the method that works best for you. But for me, I know that there's money left there, and I'm going to show you how to get it. This next method is one of my favorites. It's the one that I've used to sell over $250,000 worth of inventory on eBay. It's called the penny under method. And what we're looking at is we're looking at a few things, because it's important to know when you buy your item first and foremost from your store that you're valuing your item correctly and you have a full understanding of what you're going to be listing it for later. Have you ever heard of people talking about purchasing something and then getting home later and realizing it's just not worth listing? That's something that we want to avoid. Again, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. So with this method, what we're looking at is we're looking at a few factors. We're looking at where is the market today. So we'll go ahead and look up Jay, the content creator online, and here we are. We can see that, again, Jay is worth about $125 today. Now, if you see it in stores and you're able to factor out how much it's going to cost you to sell this item, we're going to be looking at fees and shipping and other associative costs, as well as your base cost on the item. Now we can make an educated buying decision based on the market. But there's a second half to this equation as well, too. We want to ensure that Jay is going to sell. So what we're going to do is we're going to look back at historical data and see, has he been selling frequently, and has he been selling for the price that we're looking for? If we go back and we can see that every example that we have for him being sold is at $50 a piece, we know with the right mind, we're not going to be getting that accelerated $125 price point on eBay. Now, when we're doing our search, we're obviously looking for price plus shipping lowest first. We want to know what the cheapest available version is, not the most expensive. Again, this data means nothing because if we have one available at $90, another one available at $100, another one available for $125, and all three items are identical, which one's going to sell? Which one's going to sell first? Now, is there going to be a crazy anomaly where somebody may buy the other one? Sure, it's going to happen. I've seen it happen, but it's only happened to me 2 or 3 times over 10 years. What's going to happen is the cheapest one is going to sell first. The $90 option will almost always sell first. So in this instance, if we were to price out correctly, we would do the penny under method, which would be $89.99. Now, bear in mind too, when we take a look at shipping costs, we're factoring our shipping costs into the equation as well. So if we have 2 items and one is $85 plus $5 shipping and we have another one that's $90 with free shipping, those 2 items are intrinsically the same price, right? They're both $90 out the door for the consumer. So when we factor this in together, if we have our cheapest one at $85 plus $5 shipping and you're someone like myself who does free shipping, we will go ahead and price at $89.99 free shipping. Why do we do free shipping? Well, in short order, and I don't want to do a long explanation about it today, it increases search engine optimization and it encourages the sale along for sellers who click the free shipping tab on the side. Simply put, I strongly recommend doing it. So this penny under method makes you at the highest point within search, and we're taking a look at active listing information and completed listing information. Now I can go on and on about some of the extra specifics and details that really wrap around the pricing model, but today's video is simply to get you a basic understanding of how you, in my opinion, should be pricing your items for success online. I see some people that will say, I'm going to price 10% under or 20% under the average. I only have one. It doesn't matter to me. Wrong. You're giving away money for no reason. Again, another reason why I don't like doing promoted listings beyond 1%, for instance. If you can't justify why you're doing what you're doing, there's a good chance it's incorrect. So if somebody comes onto the market today and they would like to buy Jay, the content creator, and the cheapest one available is $89.99 currently anywhere on the internet, okay, they have a choice to make. They can either buy me for $89.99 or more, or they can't have me. And as odd as that seems, really think about that. If I have another one, why should I list it at 85 or 80? If I am the cheapest available on the internet currently, the consumer is going to have the decision. Do I pay that price? Do I pay more than that price? Or do I simply not have the item? And that's the way that people need to start looking at this situation. Pricing a few dollars under is no better than pricing a penny under, with the exception of the fact that you're taking your money and throwing it away for no reason. I know that's a hard pill to swallow for some of you who may have been doing that for a while, but the reality is pricing a penny under is all you need to do to be competitive within the marketplace, as long as you're a good seller with an account that's in good standings. Now, the last method that I want to talk with you guys about today is the bases covered method. Every now and then we're going to run across an item where we simply don't have enough information to make a valid conclusion as far as what we should price the item at. Now, I strongly recommend you use the tools and resources available to you to try and get that price. Contact auction houses, contact Facebook groups, use Terapeak if you have an eBay store to look back historical data, talk to a friend that might have a WorthPoint account, make phone calls, talk to collectors, talk to vendors, talk to whomever you need to try and ascertain the actual price of the item that you're working with. But if that is simply not possible, okay, we're going to use the bases covered method, or sometimes as I like to call it, is the auction flipperoo. And what we'll do is we're going to look at the item and we're going to do our best to get an idea of what it's worth. And usually we can somehow find a ballpark. Okay, maybe it might be $500 or $1,000 is what we might think it's worth. But what we'll do is we'll place this item at auction. Okay, we'll run an auction with the lowest amount that we're willing to take first. In this instance, let's go ahead and run our auction for $1,000. Now, the thing is, if no one wishes to bid on this item at $1,000, clearly the market isn't there for it. And sometimes you may even want to wait a week before taking action on this listing, just to see if somebody messages you interested in this item. Now, if that does not happen, now the flipperoo part starts. What we can do is we can take that $1,000 auction, and what we're going to do is relist it as a $1,000 buy it now with best offer enabled. Now, the best offer, you can wait a week. Sometimes I even wait a month. I let it marinate at $1,000 and see if somebody's willing to take it. If no one wishes to take the item at $1,000, now I can enable the best offer, see if there's any traction then. If I leave it on the site for a month to 2 months and nothing still happens, now we can start talking about reductions. 10%, 15%, 20%. You can run staggered sales. What we're allowing ourselves to do is we're covering $1,000 and over, the entire upper end of the spectrum, seeing if we can get any action at that range. When that doesn't happen, and hopefully it does, sometimes it does for me, believe it or not, what we're going to do is we're going to cover $1,000 and under. We're covering the entire spectrum of any possible price that may come our direction. Really doesn't get better than that. So with all these different methods in place, you're going to be able to accurately and efficiently price your items. And remember, a dollar saved is a dollar earned. So when you're out there doing your sourcing, I don't want you just looking at active pricing. I want you looking at completed pricing as well. And when you see an item that you think might be worth some bucks, use the flipperoo method if you need to try and maximize the amount of money that you make. Now, with all of this said and done, and I do appreciate you taking the time to sit through this, I'm going to ask a few things of you. If you enjoyed this advice, do me a favor, click the like, click the subscribe, come on back, tell a friend about what we do here. This is just one of a plethora of videos that we have available here on our channel, and every single Sunday, we do a live show where we take your questions live on air and cover relevant news that's happening throughout the week regards to being an e-commerce seller. Everything from postal updates to eBay policy changes, and more. You're not going to want to miss any of it. If you would like to support us even further, check out the links down below. We have Patreon as well as a handful of affiliate links, and you as a patron can even request specific training videos on topics that you might be having trouble with. Thanks so much for tuning in today, guys, and remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great day. Hoo-wee! There we go. Got the sale. Catch you guys later.